Hello guys and welcome back to Big Brother US season 26 and we are on the week 7 eviction. I know that's kind of crazy already. I can't believe that we've got this far into the series, but here we are. We are ready to talk about which one of Chemo, Rubina and Joseph was sent packing at the end of today's episode. And once again, we find ourselves with a really shocking eviction. I didn't know who was going to go home going into this episode. I wasn't even sure who I wanted to go home because I was like, I kind of like all three of them. They're all kind of interesting players. But clearly, somebody had to go, and that person... Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later in the episode. But before we do, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well. But let's get into the episode, shall we? So, immediately after the veto ceremony, yeah, unfortunately, Joseph is up on the block now. Angela's been taken down, been saved by Leah, and we're getting into some really interesting gameplay now. Choosing to save Angela, big, bold move. It's nice to see Leah actually start playing, like, for herself rather than, like, trying to, like, worry about other people's games. It's nice, it's fresh, and somehow Joseph is not mad at her, but is mad at Quinn because Quinn was the one who put him up and is now vowing revenge against Quinn if he ever gets the chance, which I find really, really funny because Quinn seems to be like the little rat that just keeps, won't die. He just won't go. He just, what do you mean he's still here even though his game got blown up week 3? That's crazy to me. And he's proved himself to be, like, distrustful over and over again. Yeah, this is ridiculous. But either way, it's an interesting position for Quinn to be in because Quinn wants Joseph to stay, but he's just nominated Joseph. So actually, why would you do that if you wanted Joseph to stay? Surely there was somebody else in the house that you could have nominated instead of Joseph. Like, I really just don't understand his rationale there. But anyway, it's not the end of the world. Leah, on the other hand, has gotten exactly what she wanted. Somehow, she managed to save Angela from the block, gaining Angela's trust even more. And she's still in a very good position with Quinn and Joseph. They still are hanging off of every single word that she says and basically just gassing her up. It's really strange. But also, I think she's incredible at how she's managed to manipulate them. They're obviously so deep in love and she's giving them enough to keep them stringing along. And I think it's fascinating. It's a brilliant gameplay strategy. Obviously, it is a little bit mean, but also she has been quite obvious with her friend zoning. I'm sorry, but even I can see that she's completely friend zoned them and it is just uncomfortable to watch at times. But either way, both of them are still very much on Leah's side. So going into the top 9, Leah's in a very, very good position with half of the house. She trusts Mackenzie, like, infinitely. She's got Angela on her side. She's got Quinn. Potentially, she might have Chelsea and Cam. I don't know. But either way, there's a lot of good alliances that she's built that we haven't really been noticing that she's been building. So I got to give props where props are due. Leah is doing a fantastic job. So there was a little bit of a subplot in this episode about Cam and Mackenzie. I don't really understand where this has come from because it's the first I've been seeing of it. Maybe it's been on live feeds. I don't get access to live feeds in the UK, but I'm guessing that this has been coming for a while and we just haven't been shown it until there's enough of a storyline there. But Chelsea is very jealous. Like, very, very jealous. I've not seen someone this jealous since, I don't know. I can't even think of a good comparison. But either way, it's just so funny to watch. So funny because they're sitting there and they're like, oh, cutie, cutie, let's cuddle. Let me scratch your hair. And Chelsea's sitting there like, these mother fudgers. What's going on here? What? How? And I'm forgetting that way back in, like, week 3, I want to say, Chelsea was speaking about how she liked Cam. Am I wrong in saying that? I can't remember exactly, but that's what I remember happening. I might be slightly wrong with that, but anyway. Either way, it is hilarious, it's funny, and Mackenzie, I don't remember being involved in that conversation. I remember it being Cam and Leah. So, very interesting there. Is that a thing? Is this a late stage romance coming out, kind of similar to when was it no, it was season 24 when Taylor and Monty got together after Joseph left. I thought that was wild and crazy. That came out of the blue. That was a bit wild. But either way, this is an interesting storyline. Chelsea, this could end up blowing up your game, or it could end up blowing up their game, because Mackenzie's already got targets on her back. Cam has now got a target on his back, because if this is a showmance, well, we all know showmances rarely make it to the end. The only one that I can think of that, in fact, no, I don't think a single showmance in my memory of Big Brother, which is only about 6 seasons, has ever made it past 5th place. Not even that. So, what was the AI arena in this episode? Well, it was the rope untangle challenge. I don't know what it's actually called, but either way, it was fun, it was entertaining, it was quite exhilarating. The tension was there. I was really enjoying it. Joseph, Chemo, and Rubina did a fantastic job in this challenge. I did think that Rubina had a slight advantage because she is a much smaller person than both of the other two people, and therefore she can duck over, she can duck in between, she can go around a lot easier. But she still did it really quickly, and I was very impressed with her. It was tense to watch. There were moments where Rubina ran, she didn't quite have enough rope. There were moments where Joseph ran, didn't have quite enough rope. Chemo was kind of, I think, just going for one long run at the end, but he obviously didn't manage to do that because Rubina won the competition, which essentially threw so many spanners into the work, because this is how I was thinking before the actual eviction was happening. This was my predictions for the pairings. I thought Chemo against Joseph, Chemo would go home. Chemo versus Rubina, Chemo would go home. Rubina versus Joseph. It's a toss-up, but I think Joseph would have gone home against Rubina. So I think it's a very interesting position to be in, to have Chemo and Joseph against each other, because Chemo, how much of a threat does he actually pose? How much of a threat does he pose? Because as much as him and T-Core have been very impactful in the decisions that have been made in the house that have blindsided others, how much of it was both of them and how much of it was actually just T-Core? I don't want to diminish his impact on the game, but it does seem like T-Core's the mastermind of that side of the house. She just is. She's a tactical genius. She's quite literally marching into battle with 100 million different battle plans, and most of the time comes out unscathed, whilst everyone else around her gets shot down in bullets, which is kind of funny. But either way, I think it's interesting. I think it's fun to have Rubina off the block and put the two guys up against each other, because essentially someone's got to go home, and I don't know who it's gonna be. So voting time happened, and I gotta say, it was dramatic, it was tense, it was crazy. It was genuinely one of the most shocking votes that we've had this series. I really thought Chemo was going home. Here's how I thought the votes would go. I thought Chemo would have 3 votes. Chemo would have 4 votes. Joseph would have 3 votes. The 3 votes against Joseph would be Angela, they would be Rubina, and they would be T-Core. Those 3 would want to save Chemo. Whereas on the other side of the house, I reckoned that Cam, Leah, Mackenzie, and Chelsea would all want to save Joseph. God knows why, but they would want to. When I tell you, from the first vote, had me shook. Because Mackenzie walks in and she goes, I'm voting for Joseph. And immediately I was like, oh my God, Joseph could go home. And then Cam came in, he was like, oh, I want to vote for Chemo. And then we went to a break and I was like, so it's 1-1 going into the break. That's kind of crazy, first of all. That's kind of crazy. Then Leah comes in, yeah, I'm voting for Chemo. Tico comes in, yeah, I'm voting for Joseph. And I'm thinking, it's tied up. It's 2-2. And we've got 3 votes left. Is this going to come down to one final vote? And if so, who is going to be that deciding vote? Then Rubina walks in and goes Joseph. And I'm like, right, okay, it's 3-2. Who's up next? Angela and Chelsea. Chelsea's probably going to go vote for Chemo. Okay, so it's going to be Chemo going home. Then Angela comes in and goes, I'm really sorry, Chemo, but I don't think I have the votes to save you, so I'm voting you out. I was like, huh? Huh? Are we... Are we leaving it down to Chelsea? Because I don't know if I trust Chelsea to make this decision. This is a crazy decision to make. What do you mean she's the deciding vote between both of them? I was like, this is crazy. This is wild. This is dramatic. This is all over the place, and I don't know how to feel about this. And then Chelsea comes in and she votes out Joseph. So via vote of 4-3, Joseph was the person evicted from the Big Brother house tonight. Now, let's talk a little bit about what happened after that vote was announced. Because, and I'm going to put it up on the side, but there was a hysterical shot of Quinn realising that for the second time this season, on one of his HOHs, his closest ally in the game, or one of, was sent home. And I find that hilarious. Because how does that happen to you twice? How does that happen to you twice in a game? If you didn't want Joseph to go, you shouldn't have put him up. And if that's the face that you're pulling after you have heard the vote, then that person should not have been up in the first place. I think I saw that quote on Rob Has a Podcast or something like that. I don't know. But either way, that face was hysterical. I did feel bad for Joseph, because I feel like he had been playing a decent game up until this point. However, he shouldn't have been throwing all of them challenges. He shouldn't have been. He should have actually been trying. If he'd have won that veto, instead of just sitting there cross-legged, he might still be in this game. But that's the thing. One wrong move can cost you your entire game. So, with Joseph's eviction, Ainsley's curse has been broken. If you don't know what Ainsley's curse is, it's the fact that every single person until Joseph that was evicted said no to Ainsley on the first night. I'm fairly certain there's only 2 people left in the house that said no to her, and that is Chemo and Cam and Chelsea. Yeah, I think everybody else said yes to her, which is really funny if you think about it. Anyway, Joseph said that he was surprised by the vote, but also he wasn't really sure what was happening. He said to people to stick to the plan, and the plan was that Mackenzie, Chelsea, Cam and Leah were going to vote for him and keep him. And Mackenzie and Chelsea obviously flipped. I think Mackenzie listened to Chemo's speech and was like, actually, I'd rather save him, which I find really interesting because I don't think we've seen someone literally go from a eviction speech and go, actually, I am going to vote for them. I think normally people's minds are made up. But anyway, I just thought it was fascinating that he thought that was the plan. And then Angela, the person who wasn't going to vote him out, or was going to vote him out, ends up saving him, which I find hilarious. Again, you can't make this shit up. It's so crazy. It's so chaotic. This is one of the most chaotic houses, apparently, in history of Big Brother, which is crazy to me. He also said that he's more of a strategic player, so maybe that's why they wanted to get him out over Chemo. And I just looked at him and I went, what strategy have you done this game, mister? Because Chemo, at least, organised that Cedric vote out with T-Core. At least he did that. And yes, you were a part of that. And you did flip. But you didn't orchestrate it. You're not really that strategic. I'll be 100% honest. I feel like he has delusions of how good he is. And yeah, just no. But he did say that he should have played more this week, which I thought was great. I think that he just didn't do enough rallying votes and things like that to get people on his side. But it's tough. It is what it is. But that is all for Joseph for now. Sadly, he missed out on jury, which is happening next week. And also, there's no more AI Arena, which means there's only going to be 2 nominees from now on, which kind of sad about that. I liked the 3 nominees. I thought that was really fun. But I think they should 100% bring that back next season. It's such a great twist and such a great way to keep the game alive, especially in the pre-jury section. So that is all we've got time for today. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and make sure to like, comment and subscribe, doing all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well. We'll be back next Thursday with the next HOH and veto meeting to talk about. But until then, keep on ranting, and I'll see you guys later. Bye now.